Alright, as you guys saw in the previous video, whatever one that was, I don't know if it was 1 or 2 or 3 ago, but as you saw, motor is now in. I took a little bit of time-lapse video of putting the downpipe in and the headers on, so we are now to this state right now. Alternator's on, starter's on. I still need to finish up my wiring, but this is my table O parts that I need to finish going through. Oh yeah, there's another table here. So we have oil. I just did some conventional 10W40 for breaking the motor in. The oil pan will take 2 gallons, so I bought 2. I don't know if I'm going to use it all. Intake manifold. You know what that shit is. Turbo. I need to change the springs in the gates to the 7-pound or 3-pound. I need to take this apart, Cerakote this, powder coat this. Plugs, coolant pipe, intercooler, more gaskets, and then all of this shit. I did a clip of putting this on, which I'll show in a minute when I start rolling the time-lapse stuff. And I also made all of these oil lines. This is an original fuel line, but this is a coolant pipe. It goes to the gates. I have to go through, and all of these that are 6 AN or 4 AN are just standard AN line. These big 10 ANs are PTFE because I'm running an oil cooler, and I moved the relocation here. I have my, oh sorry, it didn't focus. Turbo feed line. I don't really like that. It's non-filtered, and that's not really cool with me. The old turbo I ran from there for years, but you know, that turbo clunked, so we're not gonna put the new turbo through that. For first start, I'm gonna have to, but this car is getting a Link ECU in the future, in like the near future, so I have to redo a bunch of the oil stuff anyways. I'm gonna put an oil pressure and temperature sensor right there, and then we're gonna tap off of the block with a T fitting and feed the turbo off of filtered oil, not just that shit, but it'll work for first start. Anyways, yeah, I guess that's a super long intro. Let's do some time lapse of putting the rest of the bullshit parts together on this. We're waiting on the harmonic balancer, so we're gonna crawl underneath it, do the exhaust, and go from there. All right, I don't know how long it's been, but the car is mostly together. I'm still waiting on a balancer so that I can put all this together. That's all we're waiting on, is a balancer. Everything else is like ancillary stuff, like I need to cut these bolts and replace these ones because you can see them. I thought you wouldn't be able to, but you can. I want to do the valve cover bolts. I kind of went a little ricer and did these, but I absolutely love it. Did the oil cap as well. Again, I love it. I would like to do the coil packs, but it's a Cerakote and I don't want it to trap the heat inside the coil packs, so we're not gonna. I might make like a little cover or something later on. That's future problems. Anyways, we replaced the steering wheel in it. It's no longer moldy. I don't know if I showed that on video, but if I didn't, I'll throw a picture up because I did share it on Instagram. I made this closeout panel for the shifter, so it is fully sealed. My buddy Patrick would appreciate that because we went out on a cruise one night and we kept having to pull over and shove like t-shirts and stuff down in there. Next thing is we got a battery in it again, and we're gonna turn it on for the first time, and I don't know how long, but we're not gonna start it. Huh. Fuel pump runs. All right, well, that was successful, I guess. Now I need to let it sit for a second, let the fuel gauge run and see how much gas is in it. The car has been sitting for a while, so I want to pump the fuel out, but it does look like from here the gas was already pumped out. I thought I pumped it out during the hurricanes. Yeah, there's plenty of space. I'll just fill it up with some 93. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's less than a quarter of a tank, so that'll be fine. We'll just top it off. We're not going to be getting into boost for at least a few weeks with it, so that'll be plenty of time to run some fresh gas through it. We're not boosting it until we get it retuned, and we're not retuning it until we can get a Link ECU, and that's like $3 grand, so we're gonna have to wait. All right, this is where we're at. The intake is on. Basically everything's together except for the radiator and the intercooler. I'm not gonna worry about that for first start. Too antsy to get it done, but we did get like my overflow mounted. This stuff's all mounted, so we don't have to do that later. The turbo's solid. Everything's ready to go. I already pre-bled the oil system, but I have the crank sensor unplugged, so we're gonna spin it over for, you know, a few revolutions, see how fast it cranks, get the, you know, parts moving and whatnot before we throw some fuel to it. I also put 5 gallons of fresh 93 octane in the tank, and yeah, I think that's it. There ain't really much more to this other than to do it, and it's a little nerve-wracking, but I got the one GoPro right here. I'm gonna grab my wife so she can use her phone and record another angle. For a year's worth of work. Hopefully it doesn't blow up on first fucking start. Oh, I'm not nervous, you're nervous. making over 100 pounds of oil pressure. Alright. Wasn't happy. Yeah, my heart was pounding.
Oh, I knocked that over.
Yeah, fuck it. Who cares?
My bad.
Don't care. Alright. See no major spills or anything. Let's we can't run it too long. I don't have the water in it. Okay, because I want to show with the bad, or the bad with the good. The car is back apart again. I don't know if I played the clip before this or after this, but as you could hear when the car started, there was a major metallic noise from the inside of the engine. Made over 100 pounds of oil pressure, which is fine. I did confirm that with multiple people that it's to be expected because I have the oil squirters blocked off, I have an up-rev oil pump, and, you know, tighter tolerance bearings and whatnot. Anyways, yeah, it has some sort of either valve train or timing chain noise. It is spitting fuel back out of the cylinders after I shut it off and start back up. I actually have to unplug the injectors and crank it over for a minute to get all the fuel out before it will restart, because it's, I think the valves aren't closing when they're supposed to. At this point in time, I think maybe I got the timing set wrong, so hopefully hopefully we don't have to pull the heads off, because head gaskets were $400 and that would be unfortunate. The valve seals were like 90 bucks too, I think. So yeah, this might be a $500 or $600 mistake, so I'm not gonna bore you guys with it. I'm just gonna take it apart and show you what it is. Alright, so I have this engine all apart again. Well, at least the timing stuff off the front of it. I can't find anything. I don't know what's wrong with it. All of the timing stuff lines up. The only thing that doesn't line up that might possibly be is on this side. This dowel almost lines up with this line right here, and like this dot lines up with that bolt. This isn't in the manual, by the way. This is just something I noticed. On this side, the dowel is over like a tooth, and then this dot doesn't line up with that at all. That's not how these engines are timed. They're timed by these little colored links in the timing chains, which is stupid, by the way. I don't know why you would do that, but I don't know why it's doing what it's doing. It is very possible that it has some piston to valve clearance issues just because of the aftermarket pistons, and I didn't test for that because I'm stupid. But I don't know, it might be off just a tooth, might not. I might have to pull the heads off. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna retime it. since you have to set them by them colored links, you can't really like set it and then rotate it and then check. So I'm just gonna tear it all apart and reset it. That way I know for a 100% fact this time whenever I go to start it again, it is right. So yeah, we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so for my own sanity and for evidence, I guess later when this piece of shit makes a bunch of noise and I'm curious if I actually did it right. That one's on there. That one's on there. I already rotated this a little bit. And then that one is on there. Right? Right. Those two links are lined up. And those two links are lined up. Can't see the backside because it's on the backside, but I'll throw up on the screen while I'm talking right this second the timing diagram for it, and I guess I'm gonna put it back together and hopefully it doesn't rattle. A buddy of mine said he has a borescope that we might have access to, or I'll order one on Amazon if I have to. But we're gonna have to borescope the cylinders and make sure that the pistons didn't hit the heads, because if they did, well, then heads need to come off. Because we're not going to run a motor that had valves impact, unfortunately. We'll cross that road when we get there, if we get there. Well, this is where I'm at. So in the last clip, for anyone who paid attention, and I'll play it again here in a moment, I had the car running and it ran alright. It was fouling the plugs out pretty bad. A lot of blow by, which all this is to be expected from an engine that doesn't have seated rings. The reason the engine is out is because in that footage you will hear it making a loud ticking noise, a loud like clunking. I'm not going to make the noise, I'm just going to play it here. And so that's why the engine is out. It is RPM based. It was very bad at idle, as you could hear in that footage. But it started to go away, which is semi-concerning because you don't know why a noise is like that. And if it goes away, what might fail later? And the whole idea behind this build is to never have to worry about it again, so the engine is out. Something I did actually do, I'm looking for a flashlight, sorry, I don't see one. When I built this, was I marked the rod. I actually just wiped the marking off of the damn aluminum with my finger, because you can see it in that one. So I did mark all the main bolts. That's a good thing. We're gonna go through and we're gonna check all the rod bolts, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do. Probably gonna pull the clutch off, reset all that, re-Loctite everything, put it all back together, and then... Alright, here we are again. It's ready to go back in. And it's really late now, it's after 9, and I've been up since 6, so I'm kind of tired, sorry. Yeah, pulled the pan off, as you saw in the last clip. Checked all the torque stuff, it's all right. Pulled the flywheel off, clutch, pressure plate, all that stuff. Put it all back together, retorqued everything. Used blue Loctite, not red, because I do want to be able to remove it one day. Yeah. Now I guess I'm going to stuff it back in there, and the next clip will be it running, because there's no point in you guys watching me put it back together 100 times. And I think this video is going to be a lot of talking as it is, so let's do a payoff part. We're going to get it running and set it on the ground, hopefully. Alright guys, so this is where we're at. Car's back in the shop. I did actually get it on the ground, as you can see. Looks sick, especially with big oil cooler hanging off, big intercooler. I need to get rid of that crap, which will go away when I do standalone. But as you can see, it's on the ground. I even took it for a drive. See a little bit right here. And I had it running in my front yard, but it still has that noise, which I'll put in another clip here from where I had it running in my front yard, just kind of sitting there idling with cold oil in it again. Sounds really bad, so you'll hear it. I have ruled it down to there's not enough oil pressure getting to the heads. There is oil pressure because like the valves and all that stuff is just coated whenever I was doing all the valve lash checking. But the VVTi solenoids, these things right here, they control the actuation of the gear inside here, and it adjusts. And actually, here's one of the gears. I had it out so I could pop it open, which I'll do in a later point. Anyways, they're getting stuck in the too far advanced position, and then it is throwing codes for intake too far advanced, and that's causing the car to kind of go into not really a limp mode, but it's acting like it's on anti-lag, so it's trying to spool at like 1900 RPM, which is crazy, and we can't have that happening. So the problem that I'm having, and I almost got this apart, is I don't think there's enough oil pressure getting up to this gear, because this actuates. So this sits on a pin on there, and then this actually has an advance lock right there. So it typically moves like this inside of here, and there's little bushings that go in there, but I dropped them, so I threw them away. Anyways, these gears are rattling in the top of the engine. So the car does have over 100 psi of oil pressure. I don't know how far over 100 psi. The gauge only goes to 100. The problem that I think it is I think gallery gaskets went bad, particularly the upper one, because I was stupid, don't do what I do, and I put a thin layer of gray silicone on it whenever I installed them. Now, I did have the Allen key bolts, but I just tightened them, no torquing. Again, being stupid, and I think what happened was it just blew that gasket out, and that's the gasket that feeds the heads. So the gauge reads off the bottom gasket, which is still good. The upper gasket is blown out and lacking enough oil pressure to actuate the VVT solenoids, or whatever ignition in advance they're actually called. So yeah, we have to take it all the way back down again and start over. All right, here we are. Everything is completely disassembled. I have pulled every single oil pressured component off of this engine. They're all here. Not this crap, that's other shit. My phasers are here. That was a replacement. I replaced that because it threw a code. All my timing components, tensioners, it's all here. Oh, sorry, that guy's. Now it's all here. I've gone through with like there's oil. That stuff is not clogged at all. And anyway, I can also see there, it's not plugged there. I can push this zip tie through here. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, because it's not supposed to go through there. But like, that shit is not clogged. I mean, if we want to go the real way, I can just so there are no clogs in the system. And now I don't know what to do, because I was just going to throw parts at it from this point on, because nothing makes sense. The system is designed, again, oil comes out here, goes up, that goes through the mains and all the stuff in the bottom end. This goes up, main tensioner gets distributed between here, this head and that head. You saw how it came up out of here, comes up through an angle. There's also a port that goes back, I believe. That stuff goes through this. These are the upper timing chain tensioners. They have filters on the inside, but they're not clogged in any way. Like the oil, sorry, I dropped the bolt. Is, I mean, it's dirty because it's been sitting on my floor for 2 days, but there's a couple tiny little specks, but I mean, this is a brand new, like, 2-mile engine, so I don't see any copper flakes. That's a piece of... Actually, I don't know what that was. But like... I don't know where to go from here other than this gallery gasket. And looking at this gallery gasket, if you notice, if it focus, sorry, there, it is torn. Everywhere else on the edges, it is so smooth. They didn't rip at all from the surface, except for that upper one and that little tiny spot there and that little spot there. Otherwise, I don't think they were sealing. It's the only thing that makes logical sense, is for those gaskets to be blown out. And that's my fault because I put ultra gray silicone on them. And I mean, some people say you can, some people say you can't. I have a CZP kit, or whatever that brand is, yeah, that I'm gonna put on it. All right, so it's back together enough to start it. I don't have the radiator and intercooler on, but the gaskets look like they kind of failed. I already threw them away. I'm sorry if I can't remember if I took a clip of that or not. But yeah, we're gonna start it now, and hopefully it doesn't make a noise. Alright, as you can see from my little gauge here in this clip that you just saw, we have oil pressure all the way up to here. And for some reason the engine's still making noise. Woohoo! Anyways, for some reason the engine's still making noise. I don't know why. It's getting oil pressure all the way up to the heads. But it's making noise in the heads. So I guess I'm gonna buy heads. I'm not gonna keep fucking messing with it. I was thinking about changing these and just trying these. And I had a couple spares of them, but I don't know what I did with them. And I mean, I got parts everywhere, and honestly I was scrapping some stuff, so I might have thrown them in the scrap pile too. Heads are $300. I already found a set on eBay. They're $150 a piece shipped. I threw them in my cart. Maybe the guy who is selling them will send me a discount thing. Wait till tomorrow. If not, then I'll just hit the checkout button and order valve stem seals, and yay, $700 later, we might, actually it'll be more than that, because it's $400 for head gaskets, $300 for the heads, and then oil fluids, whatever fitting I might break while I'm in there doing this shit again. Motor's got to come out again. Probably gonna re-Cerakote a lot of stuff, because scratched that there, it's scratched up over here, it's flaking off already. Scratched there, scratched there. There's some on the back side of this, I think. Underneath, there's a run there. I'm just overall unhappy at this point in time, so I guess I'm just gonna close this video and start ordering parts. But yeah, fun. Oh, I have a thing for that. Where's my thing? No, I don't. I have a koozie that says this was supposed to be fun, and it's not anymore. So Yeah. Woohoo! Like and subscribe.